What is going on, guys? DBG here, and in this video we are going to be doing another tier list in NBA 2K21. So this tier list, it's going to be a tier list of the best two guards in NBA 2K20 on my team. So we're only going to be looking at primary two guards. We're not going to be looking at small forwards or point guards, mainly because I just want to keep some consistency on these lists. I don't, for example, we all know Giannis is an S-tier 2 guard. We all know AD is an AK-47 is an S-tier point guard. I just don't want to have the same players on every single list. I think that kind of just defeats the purpose of it. So, Allen Houston. Because of how good this guy is on next gen, I'm putting him in A tier. He's like, remember the way we said he's like the definitive Ray Allen based shooter. Like him, Bradley Beal, and Ray Allen. I think he's just a better version of Beal and Ray Allen. So he's got Ray Allen basically really nice upper. His defense is pretty good. 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan. Again, he's got everything you need for a next gen 2 guard. Like he was in my, like when I was making my best team list, he didn't make my best team on next gen, but he was in the conversation. Absolutely fantastic. Allen Iverson. I'm sorry. The fact is I have to do this now. I can't just not put, like, there's been stages where Allen Iverson has been alright in the game. Like there's been some stages where, especially pre-speed patch on next gen around Christmas, that Allen Iverson was not terrible. But I mean, this Allen Iverson's pretty terrible. He can't run. I think, not gonna lie, I do think the ability to run is quite an important thing on either gen, and he can't really move on either gen. Iguodala. I think Iggy's mid, but I don't think he's bad. I think C tier is probably the best place for Andre Iguodala. I think his release is mid. His defense is good though. His defense is good. His offense is just, it's just fine. I think maybe maybe P tier, but I think he's either C or B. We got AK, one of the most obvious S tier inclusions of every player on this list. AK is unbelievable. You can argue number one card in the game. Base 98 and Curry on next gen. He's fantastic on both gens, but way better on current gen than next gen. And the fact is that I would still put him on S tier for next gen. I just think if we're done current gen, you legitimately can argue number one card in the game. That's how high I rate this card. So, Bogdan. I don't rate Bogdan. I love Bogdan in real life. I do not rate him in this game. I think he's very, very average. So I'm gonna go. I'm looking at the cards here on this list. I think he belongs in D tier, honestly. Maybe C tier. Oh, it's a tough one. Beal though. Beal's gonna go B tier. Beal is like slightly worse on Houston. When I mean slightly worse, I mean very, very slightly worse. Like, I personally believe that like Houston, all of those Ray Allen base guys are all very, very similar. I just think Houston is the best of them all on next gen, which is why I have Houston in A tier. But I think there's not much of a difference, honestly, between those two. So, next we have got Ingram. Ingram's A. Ingram's fantastic, lads. He's really good. Like, Ingram he's got a good release, a great length. They made him 6'9", so he grew. So a lot of these season rewind players, they all grew. But Ingram can shoot, Ingram can dribble, Ingram plays a bit of defense. Ingram's really, really good. And I know he is a very, very good card this year. Then we got Buddy Hield. Buddy's going C tier. I actually think Buddy on offense is so nice. He's got that Kobe base. He's got a lot of good things going from an offense. Defensively, I mean, dude's 6'4". There's only so much you can do when a player is 6'4" in this game. But at the end of the day, like, great release, good ball handling, good dunker. You can't really hold it too much against the card that he's under. Well, you have to hold it against him that he's undersized. But other than that, though, he can do pretty much everything. Okay, then we got Calbert Chaney. I think Calbert Chaney C tier. Calbert Chaney compared to Iggy's fine. Like, yeah, Chaney only has gold range, whereas Iggy's half range. But Chaney has got a much better release. Like, he's got 28. He's also got a good upper as well, which is really, really important for me. And yeah, I think C tier is where he belongs. Caris LeVert. Caris LeVert's fine. I get it, he can play point guard. I don't like that release. I don't like. It depends. It all depends. I don't like it on a point guard. It's base 70. I don't mind base 70. It's the, if you don't know what base 70 is, the Jonathan Isaac release. It's not the worst release in the world. I just don't particularly think it's great, especially for a guard. It's fine in a big man. It's fine on a Jonathan Isaac. It's fine on a. It was fine on Ejian Lian. Like, it's fine if you see that release on a tall player, but again, there's some releases that are good on big men, not good on guards. Money Mullen, B tier. Chris Mullen, he's a sniper and he's left-handed. I just love left-handed players in this game. So if you're not like me and you don't just for some reason shoot 100 times better with left-handed players, you may not particularly like him. McCollum's going E tier. He's 6'3". His shooting's decent. Like, he's by no means a bad shooter at all. The problem with CJ McCollum is he's 6'3". You can't really play him at the 1. You can't play him at the 2. For that reason, we've got him in this tier. But I mean, if you want to argue him in a better tier, you can. But he's E tier. Oh, lads, I made a severe lapse of judgment. So, like, I'm really, like, in a time crunch today. And I'm doing the Spotlight Sim Challenge for no fouls. So I decided, you know what? I'm winning by, like, 18 points. I'm just going to go and play. Play the last half of the challenge. Not really focus on it. And I pressed triangle and my player shoved another one of their players. In the with 1 minute to go. I have lost out on this challenge 3 times in the last... First time was 4 minutes ago in the fourth. Then there was 27 seconds to go in the fourth. We got caught in an offensive rebound. That time, about a minute to go, we got caught in we got caught in a defensive rebound. Oh, I hate it so much. This has been the most painful challenge since I've lost it 3 times in the fourth quarter. But yeah. Now on to Cliff. Cliff's A tier. Cliff is most definitely A tier. He's a shooter. If you can get used to his release, sorry, he's A tier. For me, he's a shooter. His defense is good. Just all around. He's a good player. 6'10". I mean, absolutely fantastic defender. And dunker. Really good dunker. So the one thing with this card, though, is if you are not a fan of Waiter's base, you're not going to like the card. I mean, I think that's the case with like 80% of the cards. If you don't like their release, you're not going to like them. But yeah, we've got him in A tier. Clyde the Glide Drexler. Oh, how much I want to put Clyde the Glide in S tier. I really want to put Clyde Drexler in S tier because he's so good on next gen. He's so good. I mean, on current gen, he's pretty good. But I mean, when we're talking about next gen, we're looking at one of the best players in the game. I'm such a big fan of him. But yeah, I think A tier is probably fair. Like, again, I wish I could put him in S tier. It's just the case that he doesn't quite deserve to be there. Darius Miles. I mean, D tier, but if you want to argue C tier, that's fine. I don't think he's quite B tier. He's got good length. His release is mediocre. I mean, he's either probably the weakest card in C tier or the best card in D tier. You know what? I'm actually going to put him in C tier. I'm going to put David Thompson in D tier. I don't mind David Thompson. I really don't. 2 guard position is just pretty stacked. I actually don't mind David Thompson. I've used him in a video, and he's actually okay. He was surprisingly okay. Okay, now we're going to go to the lower tiers. Okay, who's going to the worthless tier with Allen Iverson? I mean, is Iverson going to be in a tier of his own? I mean, Marcus Smart kind of sucks. But I don't think he's quite worthless. I mean, who else is there? Eric Gordon, E tier. Eric Gordon's not as good as David Thompson. I'm just going to say that right now. He's not as good. I mean, Del Curry is actually severely underrated. I don't like J. Rich. I mean, Lonnie Walker maybe in E tier. Yeah, he's not worthless. Yeah, I think he's by himself. I think Iverson's by himself. Okay, Wally Szczerbiak's D tier. He's got decent length, but he's only okay. And who else belongs in these low tiers? I mean, if you're on current gen, I mean, Pete Maravich belongs there. See, and so does Ray Allen. These guys stink on current gen. I mean, Drazen? Am I like Drazen C tier? I mean, yeah, he's a terrible reward, but I think putting him any lower in C tier is inaccurate. Yeah, I don't know what to do with the rest of these guys. But DeAndre Hunter's going into B tier. He's kind of, his release is alright. Like, he has a few good things, but at the end of the day, I mean, he's DeAndre Hunter. He's 6'7", long wingspan. People compare him to Kawhi, but I don't even see it. He's alright. Del Curry. I mean, Del Curry's severely underrated. I don't think I put him in B tier, but I would be tempted to. And if you're wondering why I'd be tempted to put Del Curry in B tier, just look at his dribble six. Just look at everything about Del Curry. He is just absolute god tier. He's just absolute god tier, especially on next gen. DeMar DeRozan. Am I gassing at putting DeMar DeRozan in A tier? Like, I rate him super high. Like, I think DeRozan is a elite shooter. I think he's honestly a elite a good defender. He's got good length. I don't really see there being any real problems with this card in game. Like, his overall game is good. Again, there are better two guards now, but he's still good. This DeMar DeRozan, they're the same card. They're the same exact card. They're both going to A tier. Denny Avdia. Denny's class, but he's B tier. He's 6'9" is a really good height for a two guard. And he's also a good shooter. He's a good dribbler. He can play at the one as well if you do want to play him at the point. So he does that really well. There are no real flaws with this card right here. Dez Mason. Dez Mason's alright. He's like... Some people would say he's like worse than J.R. Some people would say he's like a better version of the J.R. Smith. So, I don't know how I feel about Dez Mason. Like, you're putting him in one of those two tiers. You're putting him in either C or B. You know what? Screw it. I'll put him in B tier. Devin Booker. Devin Booker. I'm going to go C tier with Devin Booker, but I will say this is the best Devin Booker we've ever seen in my team. This is the best Devin Booker we have ever seen in any MyTEAM game. And, like, I'm not by no means a fan of Devin Booker any years in 2K, but this is by far the best Devin Booker we've ever seen. So he's going to go into... I put him C tier, but it's a C and B. There's almost nothing to separate these guys. Dominique, B. Dominique's got everything perfect except that jump shot. And if you guys know, you guys don't know how much I hate jump shot 8. It used to be the best. I hate it so much. I legitimately think, for me, jump shot 8 is one of the worst releases in the game. So I just think he is a garbage man in terms of shooting wise. But if you can get around that, because I know a lot of people do have a lot of success shooting with him, he's really good. So for me, the way I play with how I feel with his release, for me, he's a garbage man. But I know a lot of people really like him, so I'm going to put him into the tier. Some people might argue, I don't like him. Duncan Robinson, man, his gold card's S tier. You know who I forgot in this list? S tier, Buddy Hield. Duncan Robinson's D tier. He's mad. But like S tier, gold, Buddy Hield. Gold, Buddy Hield. Oh, like gold Duncan Robinson and Damon Jones carried me, the normal versions, but man, gold Buddy Hield. That card is the best. He's the damn best. Dwayne Wade. I am torn. I am torn with Dwayne Wade. You know what? I'm putting Wade in A tier. I still think he can do a bit of a job. I still think Wade can do a bit of a job in my team, honestly. Is he the greatest player in the world? Of course not. Is he the worst player in the world? Of course not. Dwayne Wade is just good. Like, I've seen a lot of people have a ton of success with him as a as a 3-hunter on current gen, especially. And a lot of people have killed me with him on next gen, which is a bit of a weird one. But I have seen him being used in quite a few tournaments, and I've seen him just getting some crazy chase down blocks on current gen, which is the one thing about the card that I really do like, is that I do think his defense is, like, a lot of people talk about needing height for defense, man. If you got Wade's animations, height doesn't mean that much. If you've got those Wade animations that you are getting pretty much every single time you are getting chase down blocks, you're right there. Eddie Jones. I'm putting Eddie Jones in C tier. And we always have a special place in our heart for the other Eddie Jones, but he's going C tier. Then we got Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose is better than Eddie Jones. Jalen Rose and Trevor Ariza are both going B tier. They're both going B tier. They basically are the same card. Okay. I'm going to have to move some players down tiers. I have to move some players down. So I'm going to move Wally down. I'm going to move him down. Move him down. Richard Van Ardale. If I've got Wade in A tier, Richard Van Ardale's got to go into A tier. And then Crawford. I love Crawford, but he's C tier. If you've ever seen me use Jamal Crawford, you know how much I love that card. At the end of the day, say it like it is. Call a C tier player a C tier player. Like, if he belongs in C tier, he's in C tier. As much as I hate to say that, there are like a C tier player you can still have a lot of success with C tier players. That's how good every single card is in the game. Like, in a game where every single card is a demigod, like, there are going to be some great cards in these lower tiers. It's like in the top 100 list, like, when you, like, some people are like, oh, how is that card like 70? But it's like, dude, there are 1,000 great cards in the game this year. Obviously a bit of an exaggeration there, but there are legitimately 300 usable cards. We have 85 in this list, and the only one I can put in worthless. There are 84 not worthless cards right here. And yeah, for that reason, we have got him in this tier. So then we've got Harden, one higher in B. I mean, Harden's not that much better, honestly, but he is better. The other James Harden, they're the same card. Both James Harden's are the same card. Jason Richardson. Jason Richardson is, like, in my opinion, like, slightly worse Eddie Jones. Or is he slightly better Eddie Jones? Basically, they're the same card. Look, they're the same card. I don't care what anyone says. They're the exact same card. There is next to no difference between those two guys. They are the same card. So, for me, I'm going to put them both in the exact same tier. And they are both going into C tier. Gian Lian, B tier. I was a lot higher on this card when he first came out. I really was. I thought he was going to be like a superstar in this game. I thought Gian Lian was going to be one of the best 2 guys the rest of the year. He really isn't. He's just kind of like a 7-foot tall cone. JJ Reddick. I mean, Reddick's E tier. Don't mind the release of his E tier. Clarkson. I think Clarkson's slightly worse than Harden. I know some people will argue he's the same. I'm going to put Clarkson C tier. I think Clarkson and Del Curry are closer to each other than Clarkson and Harden. Josh Jackson, CB. He's all right. Let's put him C. Josh Smith, though. Josh Smith is A. I'm a huge fan of Josh Smith in this game. I think his movement is insane. His dunking's insane. His defense, I think, is insane. I mean, there are absolutely no flaws for Josh Smith. I think he's one of the best 2 guards in the game and is supremely underrated in this game. Again, a lot of people are just sleeping on how good Josh Smith is. I still think he's A tier. J.R. C tier. I don't rate him. I don't really rate him. I have him. I don't like him. C tier. Kawhi Leonard. A. Kawhi Leonard, A tier. I think that's where he belongs. He's still a pretty good card. Or maybe B. He's A or B. If you need a cone, he's A tier. If you want someone to create, he's B. I'm going to go A tier, but if you want to put him B, that's fine. Kevin Huerter. I mean, for me, Kevin Huerter is just like... I've tried him out once and he felt like worst Tyler Hero. KPJs are going... One's going C tier, one's going B tier. The Dark Matter KPJ is 1 tier lower than the Opal KPJ. If you guys don't know why, they're basically the same card, except one of them has Kobe release on very quick. One of them has Kobe release on quick. So for that reason, yeah, that is what we are going to be doing. KPJ is going into B tier. Then we have Clay. I mean, Clay is just a cone, so Clay's going to C tier. I'm going to Clay to B, that's fine. Enshrined Kobe. I mean, have I forgot some players in S tier? Just looking, I'm like, Enshrined Kobe and the other Michael Jordan are the best cards on this list. So not Enshrined Kobe, Invincible Kobe and Team USA Michael Jordan are the best guys left. Am I right in saying? No, T-Mac. So, do I have not enough guys in S tier? It's hard to push up one of these. Do I want to push up Josh Smith? Do I want to push up the best? The best two on next gen are Clyde and Houston. The best, or Clyde, Cliff, and Houston are the 3 best on next gen. The best on current gen are Josh Smith, probably DeRozan, and Ingram. Do I move Ingram up? Or do I move Cliff up? Or Houston? Or Clyde? I'm going to go controversially. I move Cliff Robinson up. And I'm also going to bring Kobe up to... I'm also going to bring Kobe up into S tier. Which means I have to bring this Kobe into S tier and this Kobe into A tier. I'm going to controversially bring the Kobe's up into S tier because I do really like Kobe in this game. I know some people are not the biggest fans of Kobe in 2K. I think both gens, these Kobe's are fantastic. I think the other Kobe, like, again, these 3 Kobe's are all better than the point guard Kobe in my opinion. Like, it's mad point guard Kobe is who would have ever thought Dark Matter point guard Kobe Bryant was going to be the 4th best Kobe Bryant in this game, but he is apparently. So yeah, we have got him, his 2 cards next year. If I'm putting one of them in, I gotta put the Team USA one in. Malik Beasley. I hate base 13, but I'm still gonna put him C tier. Yeah, he doesn't belong over in that. Malik Sealy, at this stage of the game, you know what? I'm still putting Malik Sealy in D tier. I actually rate him highly. I still think he's very solid. I've had to use him a few times. He's really solid still. Like, I know it's been a long time since anyone really used Malik Sealy. I mean, for the time, that guy was a demon. Manute Bol. Look, cheese factor. Taking the cheese factor into account, Manute Bol is high. But at the end of the day, in terms of how good he is, not just how cheesy he is, I gotta put him in this tier. I gotta put him in the tier where I have him because he's just cheesy. Like, he's not the be all and end all. There are better cards in the game than Manute Bol. But I think B tier is where he belongs just due to... Or sorry, C tier... Or B tier, sorry, is where he belongs just due to cheese factor. Like, he might be the cheesiest player in the game. That doesn't necessarily mean best. Cheesiest does not always equal best. That's one thing we learned. We've all learned from 2K. Like, if you haven't learned anything from 2K, learn that cheesiest does not equal best. Hedo Turkoglu is the cheesiest card in 2K19. Does not mean there was ever a stage where any Hedo Turkoglu was better than Andrei Kirilenko. He was just the cheesiest because he was taller and he was cheaper and anyone could abuse him, and it was easier to abuse people with Hedo than with AK. Does not mean he was better. So yeah, then we've got Matisse Thybulle. I'm putting Thybulle wherever Iguodala is, but I think Thybulle is probably better. I think his release is one of the most underrated releases in the game. And I think just in general, he's a super, super underrated player. Like, Thybulle is a player that no one was really hyped about when he came out. Again, like, Splash Zone set had a lot of hype players. He was one of them, but I think he's really good, so he's going to C tier. Michael Cooper, he's a tad bit undersized, but he's good. Again, all these guys in D tier are usable. Everyone here that's sitting here in D tier is a usable card in my team. So, I don't see... Honestly, I don't see there being too many guys having a problem if they do like using them. I don't have a problem with people saying Michael Cooper's really good. Jordan, I'm sorry, I'm putting Jordans in D tier. I don't like Michael Jordan in 2K. Well, this Jordan anyway. Actually, screw it. I'm going to put this Jordan... I'll put this one in C tier. Because if you don't know, Jordan stinks on next gen. Because he's got the Michael Jordan... He's got the slasher dribble style, which basically means that he can't burst at all. Like, he can't... It's so difficult getting to the basket with him. Which is a problem. Is a very big problem on next gen. On current gen, he's still fine. Because, again, he's got the Michael Jordan defensive stance, which is huge. Like, the Michael Jordan defensive stance is like... Kawhi Leonard-esque in terms of how cheesy it is. Like, it is, you're still going to get some of the cheesiest animations ever on defense with him. But a mediocre release, can't really run on next gen. I gotta put him in C and D tier. This Jordan, though, I mean, he can't... Is he better than Ingram? Screw it, I'm gonna go like this. Here's my S tier. This is my S tier. Actually, new change. This is my S tier. This is my S tier. Michael Red. We've got Kawhi in A tier. Michael Red's just slightly worse Kawhi. So, like, if Kawhi's in A tier, I mean, Michael Red's got to go into B tier, I guess. He's slightly worse lefty Kawhi. And he's also, like, slightly worse Ray. Ray Allen's slightly better than Michael Red as well. And Ray Allen's probably going to go into B tier as well. So we got Mikal Bridges B. Low B though. Low B. Mikal Bridges was so good for his time though. And as a budget card, like, I love that card. Money Mitch. I'm so tempted to push Money Mitch into C, but I know for a fact he's just better Del Curry. So into B tier. I really want to put Money Mitch into B tier purely because he's a complete free card, and for me he's got the most chicken upper I've ever seen. But is he better than Del Curry? I don't think he's objectively better than Del. He's close. Money Mitch is so good. Like, if only we had a Tim Hardaway. If only we had a Tim Hardaway card, and we could run the Run TMC Warriors at Mitch Richmond and Chris Mullen. That would be an insane team. But Mitch Richmond is so nice in this game. For a free card, he's insane. Obi Toppin. I'm putting Obi Toppin in B tier. He's got that really good length. I like that release. And honestly, Obi Toppin and Brandon Ingram. There is a difference. There's not that much of a difference. I'm saying it right now. Unpopular opinion. Like, Obi Toppin, like, I would be tempted to put Obi Toppin to A tier. I'm such a big fan. His defense is a little bit lacking, which is why he's not going to A tier, but other than that, he should be. Oscar Robertson, wherever I have Hardens, I guess. I don't like Big O base. I've used it on, like, Eric Gordon and stuff. I used this Big O once on an account. Did I use this Big O in the All Invincible squad? But I've used them a few times on accounts. I used them once on next gen. I've only used them on current gen, and again, me on current gen, a lot of the time, I will struggle to play with a player, but I don't like Oscar Robertson base, and he is 6'5", so I think this is probably the best place to put him in the same tier as Harden, because I think they are quite similar cards. Pistol Pete. I'm putting Pistol Pete in C tier. Was Pistol Pete good for his time? Yes. Yes, he was. Is he like B tier level player on current gen? Yes. So on next gen. Is he a worthless level player on next gen? Yes. Is he closer to D tier when you calculate both versions of the game than he is to B tier? I'm probably going to say yeah. But I'm going to put him in C tier. Ray Allen's going B tier. Like, Ray is just better than Pistol Pete. And Pistol Pete was so good for his time, by the way. He was so good for his time. Like, there was a stage where Pistol Pete was one of the most just cheesy and OP players in the game. And so many people had so much success with Pistol Pete. But for me, I think he's... he's just meh. He's just meh. So, or he's just meh now. Reggie Lewis. I like his release. I like his overall game. He's got a good player build. He's 6'7". I don't think I don't think he brings enough. Oh, I don't know. Screw it. For old time's sake, Reggie Lewis, you're going to B tier. Cause you are one of the original goats. Like you are like, he was one of the original guys that I had videos booming on. He was the 2K17 version of Hedo Turkoglu. Trying to think, the Dean Wade. He was the like iconic 2K17 card was Reggie Lewis. So for that reason, he's going there. Rip Hamilton, C tier. I mean, his release is good on. His release is good if you're talking about next gen. His release is not good on current gen. Base 40 is so good on next gen though. Like I was surprised at how good base 40 was, honestly, because I can't remember who it was I was using. On Batum. I didn't realize how good it was till Batum, but it's actually one of the best releases in the game when we're talking next gen. Or Barrett, I'm gonna go C and B. They're very, very similar level cards, honestly. So I'm gonna separate them. One, I don't think he quite belongs in A, but he's close. Robert Reed, I'm gonna put low B. I'm gonna put Robert Reed low B. I do like a lot to do with this card though. So Runas Marcellinus, C tier. He's like a worse version of like the Harden and the Oscar Robertsons of the world, but he's not bad. Sidney Moncrieff, I mean at this stage of the game, he's E tier. I liked him when he came out. You know what I'm putting Sidney Moncrieff in worthless tier. I don't actually, do I think he's a worthless card? No. But like when we're comparing, like in comparison to the guys that we do have in E tier, I don't believe he's as good. Steven Jackson, I mean, you give Steven Jackson Showtime. I think B tier is the correct spot for him. Terrence Ross, I like Terrence Ross. I'm hesitant to put him in C tier instead of B tier, but I think I'm gonna put him there. Again, he's got base 70, which is not a good release at all when we're talking current gen. So for that reason, he's going here. But next gen, he's very, very nice. He is flawed though on current gen. He is definitely flawed on current gen. Tim Hardaway. Again, I've used him only once and he was not good, so D tier. Tom Van Ardale. I mean, he's like Dwayne Wade, but he's a bit taller. He doesn't get quite as good animations and can't play point guard. So screw it. Let's just put the Van Ardales and Wade in A tier. Tracy McGrady. I think I'm gonna put both. I'm gonna put this T-Mac in A tier. I'm gonna put this T-Mac in S tier. I'm gonna put this T-Mac in S tier. I forgot about him, but it's a close. They're very similar, and I do think the other T-Mac belongs in A tier, especially if I've got DeRozan in A tier. You got Trevor Ariza going B tier. Wherever Jalen Rose is, he's a right-handed version of him. Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is pretty good, and they gave him a much better wingspan. He had a terrible wingspan up until this card here. They actually gave him better wingspan. I don't know whether I want to put him in C or B. I'm going to put him in C tier because I think that's where I put Kevin. I put Kevin Huerter in D tier, and I can't put them 2 tiers difference. Tyreek, as much as I want to put him in A tier, I'm going to put Tyreek in B tier. Next gen, God, not great on current gen, so I'm going to go B tier. Vince and Levine. I'm going to go Levine A tier, Vince B tier. Levine offensively might be up there in the top 32 guards in the game. And defensively, this one here is fine. Levine's so good on offense that I'm going to give him A tier. His release is unreal. And then Vince Carter, I mean, he wasn't even good when he came out, was he? So yeah, that's pretty much it, lads. That is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.